In this Minecraft video, we are going to survive 200 days in Hardcore Minecraft's latest version, 1.18. And yes, we did the 4 versus 16 with a fight like the crazy lads that we are. But before we do that, I would just like to remind you that there's still 90% of people not subscribed. And you should definitely do so if you want to help me hit 100k by the end of the year. We are so close, so please help me. And 300 days, maybe we get the video to like 3k likes, I'll convince them to do it again, please. Alright, cool. It is worth mentioning right at the start that we were playing before 1.18 was officially released, so we are still playing on the snapshot versions. And we did spend the first day just having a quick look around to see exactly what we did miss. You know, it's been a while since we've been on this world. After getting a bit of refamiliarization with the world, we decided the first thing we wanted to do was actually make the villager breeder look a bit nicer. So originally it was just this dugout cobblestone sort of hole that more looked like a dungeon than a breeder. And so we thought we'd make it nice. If the villagers are going to be internally imprisoned for trade, then we may as well make them comfy. I'm trying to rationalize slavery. This is not where I thought this video would go. We started on day 2. We pretty much just worked on that for the next couple of days, sort of arguing on the design. It is quite simple, but here is the completed design on day 7. The biggest problem we had was that the breeder is basically on top of a giant open cave, so we sort of had to work around that. For what it is pretty decent in my opinion. And as well, it would be really easy to expand if the time comes. And now with that done, I can get onto something productive whilst everyone else just doesn't. So I wanted to find a woodland mansion. It was one of the best things we did in the original trios in 1.17, and I knew that I wasn't just gonna luckily run into one like last time, and so I decided to find a woodland mansion map. I spent day 8, 9, and 10 trying to get this villager, and it didn't take me too long to get the map. I know you're probably noticing the increased trades. I totally 100% didn't accidentally hit one of the villagers in the middle of this. You can't prove it. And you know how I said that I was doing something productive and the lads weren't? Well, on day 8, Marvin left, and we didn't see him for a while. I don't mean he left the server, he just left the spawn. We don't know where he is. Chris and Austin, they made a spleef arena. So whilst I was working on getting a mansion and everything set up, they were playing spleef. I mean, sure, whatever, let's just move on with our lives. It was day 11 where we set off to the woodland mansion. We knew it was going to be a bit of a trek, but luckily we had our elytras. However, as some of you probably noticed, we're not using the elytras because A, we forgot we had them, and B, we didn't bring any fireworks. The worst part is I had fireworks on me when I was working on the villager breeder, but I emptied it out whilst clearing my inventory because of reasons. It was day 14 when we arrived at the woodland mansion, and it was time to have a bit of an exploration. Now, compared to the 1.17 run, I just felt like we were so much better geared, and so I don't think any of us really had a problem with surviving. Also, compared to the 1.17 run, well, you know, that was the first time I ever explored the mansion, so at least I knew what I was actually doing this time. I got a couple of totems and I knocked down most of the bookshelves. Never could have too many books. It was day 16 where we was about to leave, but I mean, we all knew it was gonna happen, right? We all knew one of them was gonna burn it to the ground. I mean, you know, it was just kind of what those guys do. We at least was able to watch it burn to the ground. So that was, yeah, that was something. Anyway, let's return home. We got back on day 19, where it was immediately sleep time. Alright then. And it was day 20, where we decided that we wanted to make a barn for the horses that we don't have. Okay, I'll be honest with you. Unfortunately, I don't record my audio when I do these 100 days videos for the most part, simply because I'm listening to copyrighted music. But I'm serious that the conversation went something along the lines of Austin going, so what do you want to do next? And I went, I don't know, do you want to build a barn? And then they went silent for 10 seconds before going, sure. So the 3 of us worked on a barn. On day 23, we was about halfway done. All things considered, between the 3 of us, it actually looked quite nice. My job was interior, Chris was working on the walls, and Austin was working on the roof. But then, we remembered that this isn't a trio's 100 days, this was a squad 100 days. And Marvin, aka the person who's not part of the 100 days, said, hey, here are my coordinates. Come to me. Come have a look what I'm doing. Well, all right, Marvin. Let's have a quick gander. And so we headed towards the mountains. Very confused by his hermit niche. Now, unfortunately, I can't show you what Marvin built because Marvin built something way too inappropriate for my YouTube channel. I'll show you certain angles, and I'm sure you can assume exactly what it is. The way he described it was a pillager outpost with some stone igloos on the side of it. Now, I imagine those with an imagination could actually work this one out, but unfortunately, I can't show it for very obvious reasons. This is what he did for the equivalent of about 20 days nearly. We explored a woodland mansion. We started building a barn. This man made a giant in a mountain. And on that note, let's go and finish the barn. It did take as long. It was only the roof that needed to be done. And here we are on day 28 finishing the barn. But what's a barn without some stallions? The four of us went out into the world to find some horses. It did take a couple of horses for me to find a good one, but of course I found my horse itself. By the time we got back home on day 30, we luckily had 4 name tags in the chest, and of course we named our horses. You had Marvin being a sellout, you had Chris being a little child, you had me naming it Harry Trotter, which I still think is hilarious. And I don't know what Austin was up to, but you know. And now the barn has 4 horses, and okay, we never use the horses again. To be fair, it was a cool build, but we never used the horses again. And then we took on a task that I didn't realize was going to soak up most of the 100 days here. We went to the Nether and split into 2s. Me and Chris went wither skull hunting, Marvin and Austin went Netherite mining. Now, as I mentioned at the start of the video, we wanted to do a epic 4 versus 16 wither fight. It doesn't take a mathematician to know that that will obviously be very difficult. And so we wanted to be the best possible gear we can do. You know, potions, Netherite armor, the whole shebang. And so we needed a grand total of 48 wither skulls and 96 pieces of netherite scrap for full armor each, plus a weapon and a tool of our choice. That's 6 netherite pieces each, and enough for us each to spawn 4 withers. This was a mistake, because even with looting free, even with enchanted diamond pickaxes with the best efficiency, by day 50, literally 19 days had passed. We had only got 24 wither skulls. We were only halfway there. The netherite mining, they was able to get 70 pieces of netherite, which I still think is quite low. We just got so incredibly unlucky with all things considered. It was draining, and we were really starting to feel burnout, and so we decided to freshen things up a little bit. So, me and Chris swapped with Volcar and Austin. Those guys were going to come to the fortress, start killing some withers, whilst me and Chris were going to go mining for some netherite. It honestly was the breakdown we needed, and we actually got so much more lucky when we swapped, as it only took us 5 days to get the remaining 26 pieces of netherite. And it was on 57 with 6 pieces of netherite ingots each. I was able to get full netherite, I put netherite on my sword, and I put netherite on my pickaxe. After that, me and Chris joined Marvin and Austin as it was time for us to go wither skull hunting. Let me tell you the truth. 5 days it took us to get the netherite. They basically got like 2 skulls. I don't know what was going on. We all had at least looting 2. Most of us had looting 3. But somehow, incredibly, by day 70, we started getting wither skulls on day 31. 39 days it took us to get 48 wither skulls between us. That is barely a skull a day. We just got so incredibly unlucky. I don't think I've ever had this poor luck in Minecraft. I've had lucky moments, but unlucky is absolutely crazy. We must have killed about 500 wither skeletons between... Okay, might be a bit of an exaggeration. But after all was said and done, day 70 came, was complete, we got the final wither skull, and it was time for us to head back home. We returned on day 71, celebrated our great 40-day adventure with some pig step. Woo! With that being done, our next task was we wanted to actually do a max raid. It was weirdly on our bucket list, and so we decided to do it. Now, we did have to prepare for the max raid, and the best way to go about that is, of course, potion. And so we all split up to get our own little potion duties. While the likes of Marvin worked on getting melons for the health potions, my job was getting ghast tears. That's why I spent a couple of days running around the Nether to get as many ghast tears as possible. It was at this point that, you know, we did a lot of work. We built a build. We searched and destroyed a woodland mansion. We killed every wither skeleton under the sun. It was time for us to take a break. And there was just a spleef arena right there, you know. It was just right there. And so we decided to have a couple of games of spleef. And when I say a couple, we actually had quite a few.
Round 1.
3, 2, 1. Last presented. Go. Oh, I nearly walked straight back in. One down.
Oh, one down. Uh-oh.
Oh. No.
Oh, yeah.
Round 2.
I don't want to be in this corner. I feel trapped.
That was kind of the point.
Oh no, now I'm trapped. That was so dumb.
Damn it.
Oh, it's just me and you. Marvin, you are really
damn,
good at
Chris is-
spleef. Until now.
I killed myself when Jared
The Fire Nation
broke my
attack.
penis.
No. You have to deal with the sound effects.
I think this is the first time I've ever rooted for the Brits.
Okay, it's all down to this. For all the marbles. So many marbles. There's so many! Yours!
No!
He takes it! W!
I tried to fake him out, thinking that I didn't know where he was. No.
Do you guys have bets on you?
Round 3.
Dude, why does my shovel feel like it's not, like, shoveling?
I have that problem all the time.
Daniel, you're... I'm burning down Sussy Among Us.
No! What did you do? My Among Us!
Your Among Us was the imposter.
I'll be honest, we both looked on the wood there, so that kind of
We
looked at
both
that. Are we all cool? We're all cool, alright. Like,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
one of us did that, I would have called it out, but I think both of us did it, so.
Yeah. It's like we didn't mean to, but
Yeah,
like
it
it's
just-
sort of happened.
If you guys get close to the edge,
Just walk straight.
Oh, Lord. Right, oh my god, my Among Us. Like,
I think Jared takes the dub.
Final round.
alright. Oh, equalizer.
Oh, positions.
The concentration of spleef. It's crazy. I played 100 games of spleef and hear what happens. Sounds like a bagger of a video. Yeah.
Herp hasn't wronged me.
No. I don't like this.
Oh, so close.
Oh, Chris of the Moon. Chris of the Moon. No! You was on the wood!
We
He's on
both
the
fell.
wood!
We should both be. No, that was a. We drew. We both broke under each other at the same time.
Okay.
We should put a. We should put a wall around that.
Yeah. And so we went looking for a villager outpost. Pillager outpost, and a pillager. And it didn't take us that long to find one, admittedly. However, what did take us a little bit of a while was actually getting the pillager infection, the bad omen effect. Now, when I was doing Google research, I found out that you can get bad omen up to maximum of 4. So I just have to kill 4 pillagers with the little banner on. Unfortunately, for one reason or another, they just didn't really spawn that often. And so it took a little bit of a while, but we got there in the end. And now it was time for the Epic's Max Raid, in which OBS just screwed me over. So, here is us starting the raid. Here is my OBS doing this. Don't know what happened really there. It does it occasionally. It's never affected my recordings before. Unfortunately, it affected it here. I did notice that this was happening. Unfortunately, it was way too late for me to actually, fix or do anything about it. We basically completed the raid. And here is the end of the raid. If it makes you feel any better, the raid was pretty cool, but unfortunately, it was, well, you just have to trust me on that one. Now, you may have noticed during the max raid, we never actually used the potions, and that was because I got too close to the village before I could even brew them. But it's fine, we could just use it for the wither fight, which is probably the more important thing anyway. 16 versus 4 wither fight, the moment you've all been waiting for. I was going to be as safe as humanly possible to get everything ready. I started getting as many potions. I made enough regen, strength, health, everything you would really need for this epic fight. Everything was basically ready. And by day 99, we had found the perfect spot to spawn these withers. A nice small mesa, surrounded by some nothingness, and well, it was a deadlands that was about to hold the dead. I'm sorry, that sounded a lot more cool in my head. There was 4 of us, full Netherite. There was 16 of of them, and the time had finally come for us to fight this great fight. Okay, I don't know why I keep pushing the limits of this, but doing a 16 versus 4 wither fight, not the easiest thing in the world. So I don't know the exact split of how the withers went, but I ended up with 4 of them on me. Unfortunately, trying to kill 4 withers at the same time is nigh impossible by yourself. However, we did actually come up with a kind of on-the-spot strategy that sort of worked. Basically, you would drink as many potions as you needed to, you would rain arrows until you got the withers down to their melee form, and then once you got a wither down to the melee form, anybody who was nearby would drink a strength potion, and you just hit it and hope it would go down. And that surprisingly worked, would you believe? At least that's how I killed all of my withers. I was able to drink the strength potion myself, and then one of the other guys was able to come in and help me take down 1 or 2 of my withers. There was also a moment of heroics, so basically we all know how withers work, where they shoot down and destroy the blocks. Austin got trapped in a little hole that the withers destroyed, and I just so happened to have a single ender pearl on me, and in sort of an action moment I threw the ender pearl down to him, and because of that he was able to throw it up and escape. I wish I got a better angle of it, but just knowing that kind of happened was really awesome. Anyway, this fight took all day, most of the night, but after 16 withers, we was able to kill all of them, one by one, until every single one of us had taken down all of the withers. The 16 versus 4 wither fight was complete, and if we do 300, we'd probably have to do like 20 or something, and that just sounds terrible. That being said, we returned on day 100. We put all of the wither stars in the church, and then we celebrated with some pig step. Woo! Alright, thanks for watching, everybody.